Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the RSI Constellation Phoenix. Let's go ahead and take a look. Right, welcome back to another review. Today, the Robert Space Industries Constellation Phoenix, another variant of the Constellation series, this one focusing all on luxury transport of VIPs or somebody with a really big pocketbook. So before we get into that, I just want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because when you are, you don't only just get notified of my videos, but you get notified of giveaways, live streams, all sorts of fun stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate every one of you. You guys are all amazing. Now, moving on here, this ship is $350 when you buy it on the Pledge Store. When it is available, it is typically a limited access purchase ship, which is kind of surprising given that price point. That's usually reserved for the much more expensive ships. But when it is available, it's $350, and then you can also buy it in-game for a total of 14,817,600 aUEC. So honestly, that's probably your better route, just because it's always available in-game, and it's not a terrible price if you like what you get. This ship does output 1,864 damage per second due to the 4 size 5 Omsky laser cannons on it. Now, you do have to make sure you up the power to the guns completely, or you'll only get like 3 shots per gun, because typically when you first get into the seat, it's very limited power to the weapons, and it's terrible. Your damage per second is not anywhere near that, but once you actually put it at its full capacity, you are sitting pretty good. You get about 14, 15 shots per weapon, so much better, especially with those laser cannons. You're actually doing some pretty good damage. But of course, I mean, most people will probably swap those guns out pretty quick. Now, the pilot also has 28 size 1 Marksman 1 missiles, which that's really nice. I don't really like size 1 missiles, especially like on a ship like this. You'd expect them to be bigger, but since you have 28 of them, that's phenomenal. You're going to be sitting here slinging missiles all day. That's tons of missile damage, and they do good work when you have that many of them. So appreciate that. Now, there's also 2 manned turrets on the ship, one up top and one down below, outputting about 960 damage per second, and that's also including that point defense turret that is on the back of the ship. Now, those 2 manned turrets have size 3 CF-337 Panthers, so in all total, there's 4 of them. Pretty good. I like that. There's a lot of defensive capability for this ship, because not only are you outputting a lot of damage as a pilot, but you're outputting a lot of damage as protecting the ship in a turret seat. So, you know, you're transporting these VIPs across the verse. They at least know they're going to be safe doing so, and they're not going to get to their destination in a cardboard box. So that's fantastic. You really got to love that. Did I say Drake ship? No, cardboard box. Yeah, you're right. So anyways, looking at the defensive capabilities outside of your like weapons and firepower, this ship does have 48,800 quadrant shield, which isn't like the biggest amount of shield power for a ship of this side, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad, especially since the ship health pool is 161,145. So even if you lose your shield, you're going to be still doing pretty good, given the fact that you have so much health points on the ship itself. So you'll be able to take a lot of fire or, you know, environmental damage before you really have to be concerned about your passengers, you know, taking their money back and getting a return flight. Now, you also have a top SCM speed of 200 with a 400 forward boost and a 205 backwards boost with a 1000 nav speed. This ship also has pretty decent maneuverability given its size, with a 30-30-60 pitch yaw roll, which honestly is average among ships this size, but it's definitely not bad. There are some ships like this that are just much worse and much better. It just depends. Now, you do have 66 SCU of hydrogen fuel, and you have 3.5 SCU of quantum fuel, which is pretty good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get into the cargo number, but I'm going to do that once we get to the cargo bay. First, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior here, starting off with the bridge. This is where we're at right now, where you have the 3 seats of your pilot and 2 co-pilots, as well as right next to me, the lower manned turret and the upper manned turret. They're all centered right here in the bridge, which is fantastic, easy to get to for the crew. And then, of course, you have the old famous Drake cord here, the cord that's going to trip your crew as you walk around. Pretty nice. They couldn't just tuck that underneath the floor. Sure. This is the luxury variant, but they didn't bring the luxury past the living area for whoever you're transporting. Past that, nah, you don't get that. Now, right to the right, you do have an engineering terminal for when that gameplay arrives, and then behind you, you do have a fire extinguisher as well as a relay center. You're going to rely on that to make your day miserable when it fails. So back here, you do have the crew quarters for the pilot and the co-pilots and gunners, whatever you have on this ship. This is the restroom, which I cannot actually get into, so I'm not too disappointed there. Typically, that does work, though, and I, for some reason, can't get it to work. Right here are the storage lockers, or, someday they'll work. You open it, doesn't do anything. You can't do any sort of physical storage here, which is really too bad. Someday, maybe. And then you do have a gun rack for only 2 guns, even though you have seats for multiple crew, which is kind of too bad. I wish you'd had the appropriate amount of gun racks for the appropriate amount of crew, but again, this whole interior right here needs a bit of a refresh, especially since you have a lot of graphical glitches still, even on these Constellation ships after the engineering, walkthrough. You'd think they would have fixed some of these little things, but instead they just ran through and threw some fire extinguishers in and the engineering terminal. Now, you do have a nice seating area here, as well as a operating table now, so that's really nice. That's back and working, and you could sit there, have a little bit of a chat, and eat some food, as well as your exit of the ship if you don't want to go and bother the lovely people that are spending a ton of money to be here. Now, we'll go ahead and move forward, going into the area where, your passengers are going to stay, and right off the bat, it's already looking phenomenal. The just textures and everything just looks so luxury and pristine. It's like you just walked straight out of an RSI ship right into an Origin vessel. Now, if you open this door here, you got one of your little rooms for the passengers with the nice little fish tank. And then we're going to go ahead and walk back over here, where you're going to have another one right here. Go ahead and open this door. Pretty nice little area, a little bed, a little screen. That's for both of them. And then a fish tank there. There's no visibility or anything out these 2 rooms. And then if you were to continue on, you have a lot of seating area, as if you were transporting these passengers on a 747 with a nice luxury view of the Area 18 and some guns and typically some rockets. It's pretty nice. It's definitely not a bad view. It's quite phenomenal if you ask me. I'd love to be sitting here and just taking a nice trip across the verse. And then you have a beautiful space roof here, where you can even get more views when you have the appropriate setting. When we're in Pyro, we're going to get so many cool looking views here. I can't wait to see that. Oh, would you look at that? Right behind this wall is a nice bar that you can go ahead and sit down at and get a drink. Right now, you can't actually access any of those drinks. Sadly, I tried. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. It almost looks a little familiar if you ask me. Now, if we turn around, you have a nice seating area where you can have a nice little conference or sit down and eat some food with the passengers that you're on board with another beautiful window and, of course, Area 18. Looks like we're about to get a storm. Oh, no. Now, if we move on to the back of the ship here, you have another fish tank here. There's a lot of fish tanks. You got to hire a marine biologist to make sure they're taking care of everything for you. A nice little pool that currently, from what I could tell, does not operate. I tried to open it, nothing. You do have some components available on the ship, interestingly enough, right by the pool. There's components here, there's components there and there, but that is it. That's the end of the components. There is no others, so I wouldn't say it has its complete component or gold standard pass at this time. And then you have a nice, king bedroom here for, the most the VIP passenger that comes on board. Man, I'm just skipping over my words right now. So if we make our way to the back of the ship, you're going to notice something about it, which you've probably noticed through a lot of the screens when we were talking about the stats. This ship, and here's where the other, components would be. Ooh, ADHD, another relay station. This ship does come with the P-72 Archimedes docked right here at the back, which I'm going to tell you, Really fun to just undock this thing and go flying about a little bit, but a real struggle to redock it. I haven't done that too often, so I have zero experience, and it was a miserable time. Ended up just auto-docking. That worked the best for me. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what you can do about cargo, because you got to be wondering, well, can you still transport cargo? You absolutely can, and right here is the area to get to it. You just press that button while standing on it. It's a little elevator. It's going to take you on down with a little bit of graphical glitches. Gotta love that. And here is your normal cargo bay, just like you would have on a regular Constellation, which you can definitely fit smaller vehicles back here, including an ROC or multiple, and it carries up to 80 SCU of cargo, which is just fantastic. You really do gotta love that. I mean, you would think a ship like this with that beautiful interior, you would not have something like this, but you do. Honestly, if you're asking me, through all the stats, through the comfort of flying this thing, with it being a Constellation series ship, which might not look the prettiest on the outside, but this one just has such a fantastic feel to the interior if you want luxury, this ship for me is a 9 out of 10. Really, the only thing you're going to hit on is the gold standard and components pass that this and many ships are lacking. Otherwise, there's just such a beautiful feel about this. You have a dockable ship at the back, which helps in fighting. It's got tons of firepower, tons of turret firepower, great amount of ship HP. There's really nothing that goes wrong with this Constellation other than obviously your graphical bugs and glitches. And, you know, other than that, the components in gold standard. So again, a 9 out of 10 for me. What do you think of the Constellation Phoenix? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have one? Do you plan on ever picking one up or renting it and seeing how it flies for you? Man, this just looks like a fun ship to be in sometimes. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I appreciate every one of you. My channel members, you all are great. I can't wait for IAE. It starts today, and it's going to be such a fantastic time. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.